I was letting you
It's Jake and Joy with Cook with Jake and Joy and Derek, and this is our 7th season of cooking, of taping a cooking show.
Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning it was just me, and then Jake got joined in, and this is actually her 2nd season of actually being on camera with me. And what's great is that she's gotten much better at cooking, and I think that when you start to pay attention to stuff like this, then you start to cook more. And we'd love to know if that's happening for you, if you've been watching our show, because I hear this from people a lot, that they started cooking because they just like watching our show because it's kind of fun and entertaining.
And I think also, I think people who don't cook think that cooking is hard or complicated, and so some of our, you can see some recipes that aren't so complicated, like we have some really pretty simple ones. You're like, oh, I could totally do that. Yeah. And you start there.
Right. Yeah. Like today is kind of an assembling thing, and that's really where you started out, was assembling food. Yeah. Her husband's a really good cook, so it's really easy to let someone else do the cooking. It was interesting because I was gone last week, and one of my good friends younger friends had a baby, and they had a meal train, and I said to my husband, you're going to have to make something, because he used to cook when we first got together. Yeah. And so he actually made this whole dinner, and he was so proud of himself, and he went over and plated the whole thing. Cute. So when you get forced into this position, it's like, it really is a sense of pride and accomplishment, and not just like, oh, I've got to do this. Yeah. So today we're going to make a really fun, it's not really a dish.
We're not really even going to make it.
And we're not going to make it. We're just going to tell you about it, because you're going to really like this. It's really easy. So growing up, having a taco bar was something that I loved doing. Mm-hmm. We had those hard, crispy shells that were shaped, like tacos. And my mom would fry up some ground beef, and we'd had cheese and sour cream.
Ground beef smileys.
Yeah, and just, like that was kind of all we had. I grew up in the Midwest. I never saw an avocado until I left home. Yeah. So we didn't have that. We didn't really even cut up tomatoes. It was just like salsa, ground beef, and cheese, and maybe sour cream, and maybe some cut up lettuce. Mm-hmm. Like maybe that was what you'd have. But now, when I look at having a taco bar, I look at like all this stuff that you can put on it. Mm-hmm. And so we're gonna talk you through some of that right now. And
one thing I just thought of is that you could also do this as a potato bar, because this is all stuff that we would put onto a baked potato as well. So that's kind of cool too. So if you because some people are like, I want to have a baked potato, but all you put on it is butter, sour cream, or whatever, but you can put all of this stuff on a baked potato, and it's so awesome. So this could be either taco bar or potato bar.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. There's a lot of good value in potatoes as well. And this is another thing about, like, we've done in this season, we've been doing some, like, how can you make something when you don't have anything? Well, this is all stuff that you can have in your fridge or your freezer. Some of it has to be fresher if you're going to make it, be like really fresh at the time. So we're going to walk you through all that. First of all, we're going to start off with tortillas, right? And because we're gluten-free, we're going to get all corn tortillas. Now you can get like these blue ones. These are really cute. This is non-GMO corn. That is super, super important, because GMO corn is nasty. Yeah. A lot of people are confused about GMO. Like they think that there's so many things that are GMO, but in actuality there aren't. There's just corn, soy, in this country anyway. A lot of people get confused about hybridization and GMO.
Right,
they're two different things.
Right.
Yeah, you were going to say something?
Oh, well, it's not related to GMO. I was going to say, when you're shopping for corn tortillas, make sure that you check to see if they have wheat in them, because they won't say gluten-free, or they won't say anything, and you'll assume, oh, they're corn, so you assume that they're gluten-free. But a lot of times corn tortillas do have gluten in them, so make sure to be, if you are sensitive, make sure to be mindful of that.
What I love about this is it says naturally gluten-free, which there are a lot of products that are just naturally gluten-free. This only has 3 ingredients. It has corn, lime, and salt.
That's awesome. I need to get this.
Yeah, and you can they had another one that's like called something Tiger, and they're actually handmade right here, and I love those. But I do like that these are blue, so that's really great. Yeah. So you probably want to start with a taco
or a tortilla, lettuce wrap, if you want,
or a lettuce wrap, or just shredded lettuce and have it in a bowl like you do at Chipotle. So once again, using your own lettuce off of your own vertical growing system. If you want to know more about these, just message us and we'll send you information about how you can grow your own produce all year round, no matter where you live. We've got an indoor version and an outdoor version. Okay.
So then you have your tortilla, then you would most likely do beans, probably. Beans next.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different kinds of beans that you might want to use. I personally, when I make a taco or a tostada, I like having refried beans. And these are low-fat black beans.
And you want to make sure that you get the vegan ones. They make vegetarian, vegan ones. The vegetarian ones, I think, I can't remember if to say vegan or vegetarian, because they'll have lard in them otherwise.
Now this one does not have lard in it.
Perfect.
So it doesn't say vegetarian.
Right. So you have to kind of make sure. Typically, the refried pinto beans are almost always, if you get like the traditional brands, are almost always have lard.
Yeah, so you can use the refried ones, which I really like.
That's what I like too.
And I love that these are refried black beans.
Yeah.
There used to be the Three Sisters brand that we were using, and now I can't find them very much anymore. I think they got bought out by somebody, probably their competitors.
Yeah.
So I don't see those very often. But you can also get canned. This is a non-BPA lining. You can also get the Tetra Paks, which we now can't recycle here in Santa Barbara, which sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know which is better to use. They're both BPA free. But I like to use pinto beans as well. I know you don't like them as well, but
I like black beans.
I even like white beans, the cannellinis. I like those a lot.
Yeah.
So beans might be next. And
then you'd probably do the meat.
You might want to have some kind of a faux meat.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of choices when you go to faux meat. I really, I was at Trader Joe's the other day, and you know how they always do those snacks? I almost can never eat them because they usually have gluten in them or dairy or something that I'm not going to eat.
Right.
But this was really cool. They did this on corn chips, and they did this. They used their beefless ground beef and their soy chorizo. And both of these are gluten-free and vegan. And what they did is they mixed them with these diced fire-roasted chili, organic tomatoes, and also they added green chilies. So now you're getting like all of this benefit in the in the actual meat. It's not just like, oh, it's satisfying. And I just want you to know, like, I think this is like $1.99 or $2.99.
Yeah.
Versus buying the Beyond Meat, which this is like $7.
Yeah, so this is a lot less expensive, and they're both gluten free.
But I have stock in this, so keep buying.
This is a great option.
I think I have stock in this. I'm not sure.
This is a really great option.
Yeah. So that's a great option for the. So you would put these all out. So you want to have pretty dishes to put stuff in because that makes it more appealing to people to eat. So you'd arrange everything on these lovely plates. Maybe you'd even have like, I have friends that have like dishes that are divided. In fact, I think I have one up there. And so you make the thing look really beautiful. So after the meat, then what would you put on?
You'd probably put some corn on.
Yeah, so corn, fresh corn. I know some people like to use frozen corn.
You can use if you're like trying to have stuff on hand, you can get cans of corn and make sure. And I like to make, when I buy canned anything, I like to get the cleanest one. I like the ones that are like the vegetable, water, and salt. And like that's what I like to do.
Frozen vegetables are the next best thing to fresh.
Yeah.
So if you're looking, it's frozen is the better one to do. But if you have to have cans, then cans are cool too. But fresh is really good. This is not the best time of year to be buying fresh corn. I think these were like over $1 a piece. But that's okay. I mean, when you think about it, like being able to make this dish, like if I was making steak, it would be so much more expensive, or even ground beef.
Right.
And then I want to get some lettuce on this one way or another. I would probably have either whole leaves like this for people who want to use that instead of the tortilla, but I'd also have some that would just dice
chopped up. And then
last week we had like mixed greens, and that was really good.
That was good. Mixed green on taco. Then you might put some tomatoes and some onion, so you could
have yellow onion,
or
you could
red
have
onion,
red
whatever
onion.
you want.
You could have some shreds, some different faux cheese shred, and then of course you have to have
guacamole. Obviously, the guac is extra.
Yeah.
and salsa. And salsa.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love this fresh salsa. This is actually made by a friend of mine. Trader Joe's has it packaged in their packaging. But this is my friend David Hernandez. This was his mother's recipe.
Cool.
And he still makes this. So he hand roasts all the peppers that go into this. It's such, if you've never had this, it's really good. Yeah. And then our local Ralph's makes awesome guacamole. Yeah. They're all, a lot of the guys that work there are Hispanic. Yeah. And they're bragging to me about their guacamole. Yeah. But in a pinch, these little packs that you get, I like these because
the holy guacamole.
It's just a squish of guacamole, so you don't have to like worry about, is it going to go bad? Because once I open that container, you guys are going to have to help me eat that because I don't want it to go bad. And then you might want to have some chips on hand too. I really, once again, like the blue corn. So you're going to have this whole thing be laid out. This would be a great thing to do for Super Bowl or for the Academy.
And kids love it.
Yeah.
Kids love like stuff like this. Yeah.
And what I like about it is that people who aren't vegan don't even know that they're not eating, that they're not getting meat. They're just like, oh, it's a taco bar. I mean, there's so many ethnic foods lend themselves so well to not being centered around a big piece of meat. Right.
The other thing that I was thinking too is if you were going to go somewhere that you knew they were going to have tacos or have taco bar and they weren't going to be automatically providing a non-meat option, you could just bring a pack. You could bring a pack of this with you, and then the rest of it would work. So all you could do is just bring. You could even cook it ahead of time if you didn't want to.
Well, they might have cheese and sour cream out, but you don't have to put.
You could just skip that. But the beans and the corn, all that stuff you'd still want to put on.
And what you want to notice is that everything that's going in, like every single piece of this, has something beneficial for you in it. You know, it's not like, oh, it's not bad for me. It's actually really good for you. So that is our tip of the day, our episode of the day, our non-cooking cooking show.
Yeah, we're like, there's nothing to measure. Like, you're just going to watch us dump it all together. So,
so there's no measurements. You just get to choose how you're making it. We're giving you some tips about the brand names that we like and just some suggestions. I think you're going to like this. It makes for a really great after, like, say you've got your kids at sports events, and that used to happen for us all the time when Jake was in school. And like you get home, and what can you pull together fast? You can pull this together fast, or it'd even be a great thing to have the whole team come over and satisfy them. So it'd be a great deal. So, what do you think, Derek?
Love it.
You like it?
Let's eat it.
Let's eat it. All right.
Bye, you guys.
That's it for this episode. We'll see you next week on another episode of Cook with Jake and Joy. Bye.